My name is Dr. Harold Duncan. I'm a licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist in Dallas, Texas. You can find me on two companion websites, PrestonPlaceCounseling.com and HaroldDuncan.com. I will remind you that you are free to access those websites. Any of the materials that are contained on those sites, including articles, newsletters, and video clips, are yours for whatever good and whatever use you may make of them. Thank you for joining us in this clip number 3 in our series on emotional intelligence. In this clip, we begin to talk about specific components of emotional intelligence, the first two being self-awareness and self-control. We will talk about how those are helpful and practical in the enhancing of the quality of our lives and in the enhancing of the quality of our relationships. I hope that this is useful and practical information to you that you will be able to implement in your everyday lives. Thanks for watching.
And so one of the realities about emotions is that you don't have to choose between the head and the heart. That is a false dichotomy. It's not a matter of choosing one or the other. We need both, and we need them working together. And research for a long period of time suggests that people with high levels of emotional intelligence experience more career success, build stronger personal relationships, lead more effectively, and even enjoy better health than those with lower levels of emotional intelligence. So, one more thing that makes emotions so important, and I'll just mention this briefly. Many of you are familiar with John Gottman. John Gottman and his wife, Julie, have operated for more than 30 years a marriage clinic in Washington State. I think it's in Seattle, but I may be wrong about that. I know I'm right about the state. His book, The Marriage Clinic, is the textbook that we use in the marriage and family class that's taught at the SMU counseling program. He has a great deal in this book. He's really kind of the marriage and family guru to many of us. Great deal to say about emotions and the purpose for emotions, that emotions do have purpose and meaning. They inform us about what we are experiencing, and they provide direction in our lives. So there's a lot of validation and a lot of support for the whole concept of emotional intelligence. What we're going to do next is look at 5 of the key components of emotional intelligence, and then have a little bit to say about each of those. A definition of emotional intelligence, it's the intelligent use of emotions. Okay, that's a little bit repetitive. It's when we intentionally make our emotions work for us and using them to help guide our behavior and to think in ways that enhance our results. One of the things you want to remember is that there are some strong, very fundamental biological and developmental bases for emotional intelligence, or the use of our emotions. They serve very, very important functions in our lives, and they're part of our makeup for some specific reasons. The word emotion itself literally means to move away. Emotions are intended for our survival, for the propagation of the species. The fight or flight response that we know a lot about is really an emotional response. When we feel threatened, either physically threatened, our physical safety, or emotionally threatened in a variety of ways, our body gears up to take action, to move, and all of the autonomic nervous system reactions that you're familiar with, the increase of the heart rate, the increase of the breathing, the blood flowing to the large muscle groups that gear us up to do something physical, to either fight the perceived threat or to flee the perceived threat. So these are some of the more fundamental and basic purposes that emotions serve. They give us some very important information about ourselves. So one of our questions then is what can we learn about ourselves beneath the superficial? The question that we ask when we feel these emotions, the emotionally intelligent thing to ask is, what does this mean? Where is this coming from? And what does it mean? And what does it say about me? And what do I need to learn about that? One of the things that happens very frequently in a counseling session, happened today with a guy, is that he came in and he actually gave me permission to share this with you. He was talking about feeling uneasy. He really didn't know what that was about, but he's aware enough to know that he could feel a tightness in his chest. He could feel a little constriction in his stomach. He could tune in on some of the physiological stuff that was happening, but he wasn't really sure about why that was happening, where did it come from, and what it meant to him. So we worked on that. I think it helped him to gain some insights that he didn't have. The good news is that emotional intelligence can be learned and nurtured and developed and augmented. It's not a trait that you either have or you don't have.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the previous clip on the physiological and biological bases for emotional intelligence and how they trigger our fight-flight mechanism that basically helps us survive as individuals and as a species. I'd like for you to also join us for clip number 4 in this series, where we start talking about the specific components of emotional intelligence. In clip number 4, we will talk specifically about self-awareness and self-control. Again, I will direct you to our websites, PrestonPlaceCounseling.com and HaroldDuncan.com. Thank you for joining us, and hope that you will join us for clip number 4. Thank you.